Thanks for joining me today. I'm here in the home office with another update, and admittingly, this one is not easy, so I've got my notes. This is not the first time I've tried to record this video, which is why I'm going to be reading off of this just to keep me on track, to keep everything pretty concise and clear. After much reflection, I've made the decision to wind down Atreyu by the end of this year. It's been an extremely difficult decision to make, and as you can imagine, it took a lot of time and thought to arrive here. Sometimes these things kind of make their self known in the gut before they do the mind, and it took me quite a bit of time to reconcile those two things. And when I began to, I started to see very clearly what the best path forward could be. And I'm here to share that with you today. But before I do and continue any further, I really do want to put some positivity into the message, especially for anybody who's been around since the very beginning. This one goes out to you, but anybody tuning into the brand who's kind of new to it. Maybe you just bought your first pair of shoes from us in the past few months or something. I just thought that our story is very unique and special, so here's the short version of it. But I'm from a little town called Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I had this idea that if I could design some running shoes, that I could sell them out of the back of my truck and get an expo booth and go to a race or a triathlon, have a little sign that says, I'm racing right now, but I'll be back in X amount of time estimated, and I'll see you at the finish line. So I moved to Austin. And my brother lived here at the time. He still does. And he encouraged me to think bigger. What could I offer to the... Why was I even thinking like this? What could I offer to the running industry? What could a product offer to the running industry? What makes it unique? And we started on a really great brainstorm and dialogue. We started talking about, I loved the idea of affordability. I was going through a lot of shoes, and so this sparked conversations around, what about a subscription model? You know, what about offering an affordable shoe subscription model for dedicated athletes who are training a lot? And that's what we went to market forward with, that concept, around 2020. And it was a really great dynamic year. We got a lot of press and PR from it because that was a very niche idea at the time. And then as we began to get feedback and learn more, it's like either people wanted a more durable shoe, but notably like the carbon-plated running shoe zeitgeist was like ramping up. And the foam wars were ramping up. And I wanted to put our best foot forward in that, so I got to work designing a shoe called the Artist, which was a $100 carbon-plated running shoe. And it was greeted by an Editor's Choice Award from Runner's World, which was very special. It was extremely special. I still got the magazines, and I cherish that. Such a great idea, because the original base model, I think somebody even compared it to like a piece of cardboard, but I digress. Like I love the press journey of everything, because it really illustrates in written form the dynamic journey we've been on. But all that to say is that I made a pivot from a subscription model, broke that wide open to a single purchase model, and then we designed the base trail, daily trainer, into the race model, daily trainer 2. It's been a great ride, and we've been greeted by a lot of really phenomenal reviews. If you check out our website, you'll see 5-star reviews. 4 and 5-star reviews are all over it. It's fairly unique. In fact, Yachtpo, which is our kind of aggregator for reviews, the kind of company that sends out like 14 days after purchase, there's only like 3 or 4 in there sitting, because they're super profane, and newsflash, they're not good. People did not like the shoes, but it's also super profane. So they're not up there. But what you see on the website is pretty much what you get. Like, that is the reviews. It's very special. I really attest this to like a community-driven brand where people kind of were enthusiastic to purchase the product in the first place. But through the brand, there was also something called the Atreyu Run Club, and it's a place where we run every week with my friends here in town. We will continue to run together every week here in Austin, Texas, and it's just another great thing that came from the brand. And at one point in time, I was approached by a distributor in Thailand to work with a retailer in Thailand to put thousands of shoes over there. And then REI called, and then we got into REI and put shoes all over and we probably could have done a better job of making different decisions about marketing and how to make that program successful. But it was a learning experience, and it was so special. Golly, it was special. And the YouTube channel, just to remark on the YouTube channel, my love is audio and video. Like I've got a degree from Berklee College of Music and songwriting, guitar, kind of like this composition hybrid degree. And I love audio, but I love video. So I get to do all the product shots and build the website. But I really get to put that to work on our storytelling device on YouTube. And I do not take that for granted. It's been just such an enrichment to my life. In the last 3 bullet points, I got to run the Boston Marathon in a pair of race models with my friends and my wife. We've gotten to build an entirely amazing community, community-driven brand. And throughout the second part of this message, just keep in the back of your mind that this has been an absolute wild success, and it's been community-driven success from the inside out. And I'm very proud of that. I know hundreds and hundreds of people. I've communicated with thousands and thousands of people. I've gotten to know people. I know your Instagram handles, your emails, all of that stuff. Like, it's a very personal endeavor. But most importantly, in a roundabout way, I met my wife through Atreyu. I was at Medici Coffee on West Lynn here in Clarksville, a little neighborhood in Austin, working hours a day back in like 2018 and 2019 on my business plan. And when we went to market, she saw some guy running through downtown in a pair of the Battle Lies Within colorway base model. If you remember it, it's got the pink base model with the green laces. My buddy Rory designed the colorway, and he did a fabulous job with it. And but she saw him, and I believe it was Chef Robert. Shout out to you, my friend. That's who I believe my wife was talking about at that time. But anyway, I digress. But lo and behold, like, we went on some dates and went on some runs, and the rest is history. It's been an incredible, incredible 5.5, almost 6 years in business, and even more than that, including the prototyping and the business plan aspects of the business. But the devastating reality is this. And before I say this, I wrestled with how to deliver this message. When I talked to my brother, he encouraged me to just be honest, be brutally honest. What's the thing? Like, what's the thing that needed to change? And we simply just needed to sell more shoes at a higher velocity. I call that the economies of speed. You might have heard of something called economies of scale, where things, if you buy in bulk, it gets cheaper. Well, Atreyu has this phenomenon. It's kind of like an airplane getting off the ground, where you go for months and you generate enough cash through sales to make the next big order. Maybe it's a replenishment of a colorway, or it's new tooling for a new model, which is extremely expensive. And all that cash goes back down, so it's back to the runway. Got to take off again. Back up, back down. We've done this 15, 16 times. And so we fly a little bit too close to the sun, so to speak. But that's what makes us special. And please forgive me for all the analogies. But if you've been around long enough, you know that that's kind of the wacky dynamic that we've always had. We've kind of been scrappily funded from the very beginning, from the very first pre-sale. And everything has been a daisy chain of that first event. And it's been amazing. We've gotten so far doing that. But the harsh reality is that had we sold more shoes faster, we would be in a different position right now. The operational strain, including, rising costs, the tariffs. I'm not going to lament on the tariffs in this video. I'm going to spare you of that because I have another video divulging all kinds of different ideas on the tariffs in a previous video. But it's been rough. It's rocked the entire global logistics supply chain. It's rocked our factory supply chain. Every aspect of the business has been completely I don't even have a word for it. It's been a really, really challenging, year so far that's led to some pretty dramatic decisions. And the production cycles, they get longer, things get more expensive, the margin shrinks, and then all of a sudden that plane wants to go beneath the runway, and it's just like, you can't do it. You just can't make it happen. And you definitely can't do it without compromising what makes the brand special, which is a community-driven brand without all the bells and whistles of the modern marketing machine that requires a war chest of capital to give you click ads every time you open up your phone so that you buy a tray. It's just like none of that stuff was really in the business plan. It's not something I do well. It's not something I ever really saw myself as a marketer or a salesperson. Like I just, and honestly, if I'm being brutally honest, it's worth mentioning that I could have made different decisions to make this thing a wild success. Like, no doubt about it. I could have produced better decisions to produce different outcomes. And that's just the reality. I mean, you can't look back and say every decision I made was perfect. That's just not true. No decision is perfect. There's always subtle nuances in everything. And I've always been comfortable admitting that, like, and some of my decisions have led to pitfalls or shortcomings. Some of them have led to Runner's World Editor's Choice Awards. Like, who knows? Like, we just don't know. We just have to keep embarking down the road. But I digress. But I'm proud of that grassroots approach. I'm proud of the decisions I made because I don't regret a single one of them. That's the reality. Is I don't regret any decision I made. But without the revenue to sustain such a cash-intensive business, minimum quantities in the thousands of shoes, colorway replenishments in the thousands of shoes, like all these ideas just did not make it possible to give Atreyu what it needed to keep sustaining this product iteration, to keep up with the competition of the industry, the seasonal. Everybody's got a new color, a new thing that they're offering. We're up against that, and so it's coming from a guy who wanted to sell shoes out of the back of his truck. And I think we've put up a good fight as the underdog, but it's definitely pretty stiff competition out there. And not to mention, this is pretty much a global direct-to-consumer brand. We put shoes all over the world: Singapore, Thailand, Germany, all over the EU, UK, South America, wherever there are shoes all over the world. And at this point, I'm really running the brand side solo. And a lot of folks out there with high emotional intelligence have probably read between the lines. And you've actually sent me some really nice emails expressing your concerns that I've maybe stretched a little bit too thin. And maybe I couldn't admit it before you called it out, but you were right. I've been stretched a little bit thin. And I kind of met my match on that. But I've not done this. This thing wasn't built as a solo effort. I was built with massive support from my family and the team that preceded this what it is now. I had great people, amazing people I've gotten to work with and learn from, who've gone on to do different things and wonderful things. But at this point, the resources are limited. My buddy James, who also works at a local retailer with Rory, my buddy Rory, he's helping me a few days a week pack the shoes. And my wife helps with social media. And Gary and Todd, the factory liaisons, who help with the development side, they're amazing. But it's just not enough. It's not enough support and help. I just can't. I can't continue with the workload. So what's next? I just wanted to be clear about this, that there are no new production runs planned at this time, and once we sell out, that will mark the end of the chapter, and I'll be selling the remaining inventory throughout the rest of the year. If you've gone to the site, you kind of know that stuff is already a bit spotty. Daily Trainer 1.2 is spotty. I think we have like maybe 30 base models left and kind of a wacky size. Race models beginning to sell out. We have kind of a full deck of Daily Trainer 2s, but those are going to be going pretty quick too because we don't have any more coming. We have sizes available in those right now, but you'll start to see things start to move a little bit in the next few months, because I plan on my job for the next few months is to offline, various systems, including final returns on sales tax, all the things that it's going to take months for me to kind of wind down the operational side. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to proceed with checking in and bringing the dignity and respect that this brand deserves on this last chapter through check-ins over the next few months. I'm gonna that brings me to the last thing. Sorry, I hope that what I've said so far has been thorough, and I'm going to just gather my thoughts for a second. But I am going to step into the unknown personally, with intention of going forward, putting forward what I was given, the support that I was given. I don't take for granted, and with everything that I've learned, I want to put that to use moving forward. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I think that's my plan. I hope to be as inspired as I was since day one. And this keep going philosophy, this honor simplicity, but I've been talking about a lot about keep going. It was going to be on the pull tab of the Voyager. That is very much at work, because as I disassociate myself with the brand to a certain extent, I realize that philosophy, each of us have that in us, is that we, even if I myself, even though it's deeply personal to me, am not my business. I am who I am. And I hope that you have that perspective too, because so often we can think that what we do is who we are, but what we stand for can be who we are. And that's been kind of the mixed bag of emotion with all this. It's been very hard to grapple with the mixed bag of emotions. So that's why I can't send this in an email. I have to be able to articulate it in long form, so to speak, like this. But last thing I'll say is that I'm just so proud of what we built, and you helped make something so beautiful and so rare. Even though we could have had I could have made different decisions. I'll own that. I could have made different decisions to sell more shoes. But for a second, I do not want you to think for a second that what you've done has not been taken for granted, or what you've done is nothing short of absolutely phenomenal, because this was grown from the inside out. It's kind of like the Jeep wave. You drive down the street in a Jeep and everybody's like, hey man, I know what you're up to. But if you see somebody in a tree, you know that they're on the wavelength. So you always get a little bit of a handshake. See somebody in the airport with the trees, you're going to probably stop and talk to them. That's an amazing thing. That's not me, that's you. That's where this is as much of a success story as it is the closing of this chapter, is that I only regret, and I'll share this from the deepest parts of me, my only regret is thinking too far into the future. What happens if you do this? What happens if you do this? Where are you going to be 10 years from now? What are you going to do? I should have realized along the way of the countless wins, the standing at the top of the mountain with your fist raised to the air and going like, oh my God, this is as good as it gets. Rory, are you kidding me? Marathon trials in Atlanta 2020 in the base model? What? I believe it was 2020. That was crazy. Huge win right out of the gates. Unbelievable. The stories are endless. It's unfathomable. So it's time for me to start wrapping this up, because I don't want to go on too long, but continue. I want to say this, support small businesses, show love to those around you, and be yourself. It matters. It matters a bunch. I hope this story has inspired you to start your own restaurant, your own shoe company, your own brand. Even in this condition, do it. Just do it. Give the world what I often have this idea of me doing my science fair diorama back in elementary school. I believe it was does salt water conduct electricity? And it's newsflash, yes it does. And I'm so proud to give it to you. Give something to the world. Show them your best. Show them your authentic self, because honestly, what I think the world needs most right now is authentic and genuine folks doing authentic and genuine things, because I don't want to make a slam video on the culture right now, but it's challenging. It's a challenging place. We live for seasonal ideas and the next and the latest and greatest, and even if it's not a material change in something, it's got to be new. It's got to be the next color, or this or that. It's just, if we could just stop and realize that if we put ourselves into what we do, then that is the win. And that's what I feel so humbled to have done over the past few years. And And I always said that I hope you have the support that I've had in this journey, and I will continue to have, because I'm a lucky guy. I'm a very lucky guy. I'm surrounded by people that support me. It's undeniably amazing. And I hope you have that support, that emotional support, to do what you know is right, what you love to do. I'm wishing you well from here in Austin, Texas. Thank you for allowing me to take this 20 minutes or so to kind of set the stage for the next few months. I'll continue to check in with you. I won't be able to answer all of your questions, but if you want to, leave them in the comments on this video, not because of the algorithm. I could give two shits about the algorithm. And frankly, the algorithm hadn't been working for us for a long time. You're lucky on Instagram. We got 30,000 people on Instagram who opted to follow us, but you really only get... You're lucky if you get 1% of that on a post without paying for it. We live in a pay-to-play game, but whatever. I digress. Authenticity will win. It always does. And I don't know what's next, but I'll continue to check in. Thank you so very much for your time. Signing off from here in Austin, Texas at the home office. I'll catch you later.